I lost 2 jobs within 6 months for holding traditional views on marriage, family, and what it means to be a man and a woman. Through an agency, I got a job as a teacher assistant for a high school in Wales. I liked the school, I liked my colleagues. As it happened, I worked in a classroom with a male pupil, a boy, who identified as a girl. He started identifying a little while before I joined the school. I hesitated for a while whether to address him as she or her. I didn't think it was in his best interest, but after long thought, I decided to comply with this. But one day during a break in a private conversation with some teachers, I expressed some criticism about some of the LGBT agenda. And that was enough to trigger a series of meetings on the same day with my superiors. And I remember during one of those crucial conversations on my last day at the school, the form teacher told me, "Ben, she is a girl, full stop." And I said, just a moment, physically, that pupil is still male. Legally, that pupil is still male. So however complicated and difficult his mental, psychological situation, and obviously I realized and acknowledged the fact that this was a complicated situation, very sensitive one, you couldn't just say, she is a girl, full stop. Then they demanded more about my opinions, which I told them frankly. I comply with the school's decision. I just personally think of that pupil as a male pupil. And so I said the right thing, I did the right thing, the politically correct thing, but I refused to think the politically correct thing, and that was enough. The next day I was preparing, brushing my teeth, my agency calls me and says, "Ben, they cancelled the booking." I was asked to go to an Anglican school in the same part of Wales, and when I went there, I thought, oh, here at least this sort of problems will not come up. At least in this respect, I'm a bit safer here with my traditional views. How wrong was I? After a few months, and again, very good reviews, everybody liked working with me. I liked actually the staff. I thought the school was, in most respects, very good school. I was liked by the pupils. Until one afternoon, I took part in a seminar. After hours, there was a training session for all the staff, teachers and teacher assistants. And during that diversity and inclusion seminar, I asked a question. And so I said, would some of my traditional views, such as, and I mentioned a few mainstream Christian, or even you could say traditional conservative views. For example, if I said, I believe traditional marriage is between a man and a woman, although I said I acknowledge other options have been made legal in this country, but for me, that's my belief, that marriage is between a man and a woman. Could that be viewed as offensive or as discrimination? The speaker answered, holding such views is perfectly fine, but expressing them could in some situations be discrimination. The next day, I was summoned to the headmaster's office, and I was told that I offended some people with my question. So he said, Ben, I don't want you to express these views at the school anymore. I said I wasn't planning to. However, I added, they remain my views, deeply held views, and I am likely to express them in my private life, for example, on Facebook or social media. This is where the dismissal started. The headmaster told me that expressing them, even in my private life, could be damaging the school's reputation. I said, that's very strange, sir. And again, I'm not going to undertake to self-censor in my private life. And he said, in this case, you can't work here anymore. Within minutes, I was escorted out of the school, and I was reported to the local regulator of educational workforce in Wales, which led to a ban on teaching in schools for a few months. I thought, this is Orwellian, this is really Orwellian. After a seminar on diversity and inclusion, after expressing mainstream, obvious, basic Christian or traditional beliefs, I'm being kicked out of the school and declared unsafe to work with kids because the headmaster claimed a safeguarding issue. A safeguarding issue means you're not safe to work with kids. Normally, it's used only for sexual offenses, physical violence or encouraging pupils to become terrorists or something like this. So when I revealed those views, when I opened up, the school thought, wow, he hasn't done anything yet, but holding those views, he's a potential threat. He might be a problem in the future. So in a way, this funny thing is, it's just a potential crime. I definitely realized that speaking up, going to the press, being willing to talk to the media like here, like to you, may involve some cost in the future. I believe we cannot allow a group of confused, misguided people and organizations to impose their strange views on us. Not only the other side, so to speak, has dominated the discourse, the policies in many ways, but you cannot even say anything critical, which goes against democracy, against free speech. This becomes really totalitarian. And I know something about totalitarian. I remember the last 10 years of communism in my native country, Poland. Most Poles didn't like it, but in many situations you had to pretend. It's becoming like that in Britain. You have to pretend you agree with the fact that the family can be, two women, although you might think otherwise, or that it's enough for a person to think and feel that they are the other sex for them to be the other sex. Most people don't think it's true, don't think it's right. They're just afraid of the regime, of the system, because of the consequences. I deeply believe the majority of people are still rational, but I'm afraid because of the potential price they can pay when they express that, people have gone underground with their views. It's okay to say I'm Muslim in Britain, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, but you cannot go into any detail. It must be very generic. And then people pretend they don't know exactly what it involves, although it should be obvious. If you're Muslim, if you're Christian, you hold those beliefs. I remained optimistic because I believe in a higher personal force. It may take longer than we humanly expect, but I do believe in the truth, good and light at the end of this very confused and strange tunnel we are in at the moment.